Hello everyone, I'm back as I promised to you that this Thursday I come to you with my dear friend Annie Williams that I know for many years, almost over 30 I think.
Forever.
And she's an amazing sound therapist and she lives in south of France. And we have to talk about grief this time that I promised you, because we believe that coronavirus, it is true, it's real, but it's also connected to our lungs, and about, because she's a great sound therapist, she also knows what that means, what lungs are about the breath, what's important about our breath and our grief.
Yeah, I think that post that I did on Facebook got a lot of attention, a lot of comments of every different sort, but it really struck a chord with people when the impetus for the post was talking about Ophiuchus speaking, the constellation of Ophiuchus, and deep in Ophiuchus there was a huge explosion over a period of quite a long time, but they brought it out. The astrophysicists started talking about it. This last month they announced that this is what they had discovered.
Wow. And
it correlated with the whole outbreak of the virus and people grieving and in fear around the world. And Ophiuchus is traditionally related to
Asclepios.
I have to say it the Greek way.
Asclepios, and he's the Greek god of healing. He's the medicine god,
Yeah. And I really kind of put the patterning together that if the stars are speaking from this area of the celestial, then Asclepius is trying to get our attention.
Absolutely.
And the tradition, as we were talking about earlier, with the temple healing and going in for purification and a remembering on a soul level of who we really are and reconnecting with our Creator. So they would call for a healing dream and a dream healing temple. And that they were all, as you know, it's your territory, all over the Mediterranean. And there's one where I've been doing research in Iberia, in Catalonia. So this really started fitting together as a theme of import for humanity right now, to really reckon with this deep longing and this deep grieving that we're going through and affecting the lungs.
Yeah. Well, in Asclepios times, what they used to do is they used to take you into the temple and you sleep, and actually through sleep you heal, and that's called the sleeping healing somehow. It's kind of hard for me to translate in English, but what they used to do, and people will go to this deep sleep, and through their dream state they would understand what they needed to do for their healing, but through the help of Asclepios and the healers that were there and the energy of the temple. So
they would receive a healing dream that might have guidance about. I have this big thick book on the history of all of the different documented cases, not all, but some, of, sometimes they would receive a herbal formula, what they needed, or what they needed to work on a soul level to reconnect themselves with their original intention, their original connection with spirit. Or it could be anything, but they would often have a visitation from one of the gods.
Yes.
And Iyia,
the goddess of health.
and hygiene, which is such an important thing right now that we're all thinking about. So she was the partner daughter of Asclepius. And so she's also important in this.
Absolutely.
As the healing mother with the cup of ambrosia.
Well, because our hygiene is also our wealth. I think Iyia comes as a wealth, because if we're not healthy, there's nothing we can do in the world. There's, we can have all the money, we can have whatever we need in life, but our health is the one is really going to take us to the next level. And also at the time of Asclepios in the ancient Greek temples, the reason they went in there is for the soul to find again their path. because people get sick with getting lost of their path, whatever that might be.
Right.
And we get caught up in daily life or whatever it is. We lose what our soul is here to do. What is our soul is here to breathe, not to breathe. I'm sorry. Well, to breathe, but also to birth. We forget. When we forget what we're here for. So now the other thing that we talked about is a little bit astrologically, because I'm a Vedic astrologer, not in practice, but in philosophy. I love it. And I can, I do a chart or whatever, but she's also a Western astrology, but we as well, she loves Western astrology, and we connect in that because the day that we both talk, there's something interesting is going to happen in a different way, is showing up in the Western astrology and also showing up in the Vedic astrology. So you want to talk about the Western?
A bit, yeah. I mean, what really astrologers have been looking at, and again, I use this in my sound therapy work. I'm not a professional astrologer, but I know a lot of them. They give me information. And what's been interesting is astrologers have been really waiting for this moment in time.
Yes.
Because everything is lined up now, Western in Capricorn, and now also in Vedic, it's moved into Capricorn. So there's this grouping together of planets, Saturn, Pluto, and now Jupiter, that have everything to do with deep transformation.
Exactly.
And just really giving birth to something, breaking down the old paradigms. And it's not always fun. It's not always comfortable. So this is what the whole globe is going through all at once. And we're all in it together more than ever.
Yes, we are. We are going through it everywhere. So I just want to say that I talked about closing your book in previous things, and it's about really looking at yourself as deep as you can so you can transform, and don't be in fear of this transformation. It's like looking the truth in your face and going, I'm okay, I'm not afraid, I'm going to be okay, but I need to have awareness of what's happening also out there too.
Vigilance, like wise as a serpent. And Hygeia had her serpent, of course, that did the temple healing. And the fear thing, I was awakened in the middle of the night last night, and I felt the global fear of this pandemic as this entity that was dark and with tentacles that was trying to creep into my psyche. And I pushed it away.
Absolutely.
I said, no. Vigilance, yes. Wisdom, yes.
Absolutely.
The serpent represents high wisdom. So, we're careful, hygiene, but no fear.
I agree 100%.
And that is connected with this kind of dark side of all of us, the grieving, the shadow, the guilt, the addictions, whatever form it takes, we all have it in some form or other. And if we can help each other now just to rise up together, it's going to crash, I think, the paradigms.
Yeah, it's crashing.
The economies, the governments, so many different levels. And I think flexibility and grace and compassion are so important now.
And to find our own strength and our own power within ourselves, and not to connect to the global fear. That's very important, because when we connect to the global fear, we actually give her more food, and we don't want to give this entity any more food that is already there. We just want to get rid of this energy, So just stay in your strength. Stay in your inner power, do your grieving work, write down when you feel that grief or when you feel the sadness, and also start to separating it, what's yours and what isn't yours. If you can do that 10 minutes in the morning, you will know what's yours and what's not yours. So we want to let you go on that note, but first I want to let Annie tell you her website, just in case you want to get in touch with her.
Okay. My name is
session or something.
Ani, A-N-I, Williams, and that's the website. You just search AniWilliams.com, or sometimes all that comes up is Google things. I mean, YouTubes and things. So you can type in the HTTP.
Great. And for me, you have all my information below if you want to book a session, because now we're here to help even more than ever. All of us as therapists and as healers, we really want to be available because we've done a lot of work. And here in Sedona, 25 years and 30 that we've been living, we've done a lot of work. So on that note, namaste. Thank you. Thank you, Annie, for being with us.
Thank you for inviting me.
My pleasure. And I will talk to you guys about the energy of next week. Take care.